Beloved Chosen One, the moment your eyes rested on 8888 glowing on the thumbnail, something gentle yet unmistakable stirred within you. You didn't click out of curiosity. You paused because your spirit felt seen. In the quiet language of Scripture and the lived experience of faith, this number speaks of completion flowing into abundance, of covenant blessing passed down through obedience, and of God affirming lineage not by flesh alone, but by promise. It carries the reassurance that what God began generations ago, He has not forgotten, and He is faithful to bring it to fullness. So let me ask you softly and honestly, why does this message feel personal? Why does the phrase true descendant resonate in your heart in a way that's hard to explain? Because deep down you've always sensed there was more to your story than struggle, more to your calling than survival. You've carried burdens that weren't entirely yours, walked paths that felt prepared long before you arrived, and endured seasons that shaped you rather than broke you. Before I share what God is confirming, what legacy He is speaking over your life, and how 8888 serves as a loving affirmation that you are known, chosen, and remembered, pause here with me. Pause with me for a moment. If your spirit agrees with this truth, simply comment Amen below as a seal of your faith. And if this message brings comfort or clarity to your heart, tapping super. Thanks is a gentle way to support this work and help these words reach others who are waiting to feel seen and understood. Stay with me, because what's coming next isn't about titles or pride. It's about belonging inheritance and the tender assurance that God has always had His hand upon your life. And so, Chosen One, let us delve even deeper. What you need to grasp now is that this ancient holy assembly was not something anyone could accidentally encounter. It was not publicized or announced. It was not broadcast or revealed openly. It was deliberately called into being. It took place in a dimension impossible to locate on any earthly map, not even hinted at in lost ancient texts or hidden manuscripts. This realm operates beyond our familiar reality. It does not adhere to the rules of light or physical forces. It is a place where shadows do not merely appear, they move with deliberate purpose. Where silence is not simply the lack of noise, but a tangible force pressing upon the spirit like a firm grasp around the heart. The entire environment vibrates with mysteries far older than creation itself, older even than the first stars that illuminated the heavens. There are no boundaries there, no openings, just the infinite pressure of eternity folding upon itself. Time does not flow forward. It lingers in anticipation. Then it arrived, a resonance not perceived by human ears, but felt deeply in the spirit. A deep, ancient vibration resembling the earth's groan during birth pains. It was not an ordinary message, but a powerful calling, a sudden rupture in the fabric of silence. From that breach they appeared entities not made of flesh, but composed of shadow and insatiable desire. Some gleamed like shattered glass, scattering light into patterns too intense for mortal eyes. Others drifted like mist through the fractures of reality, while still others emerged enveloped in a silence so profound it absorbed every trace of hope. They assembled not for battle or domination, but for a matter of utmost urgency. A name had been uttered. Your name. It was not proclaimed loudly, it did not require volume. It struck that space like lightning cleaving a tree, precise, fierce, absolute. And everything halted. Not yet in terror, but in stunned recognition. Why you? Why this moment? Their bewilderment was almost palpable. Yet one figure among them remained unmoved. A presence shrouded in darkness denser than midnight itself. He rose gradually, his aura void-like, absorbing even the faintest light that approached. When he uttered your name, it carried more than sound. It conveyed judgment, declaration, acknowledgement. What they perceived in that instant was not the version of you familiar to the world, not the exhausted soul who has endured quietly, not the one who has suffered in private, wept in solitude, or doubted your value during sleepless nights. No, what they beheld was the essence they had attempted to suppress. The inner fire, the enduring heritage, the divine spark implanted by the breath of the Most High before the world's foundations were established. And now they quiver not because of your past, but because of the powerful identity you are stepping into. The ancient forces once believed your narrative concluded before it truly began. They scattered falsehoods like ashes across your journey, lies insisting you were ordinary, damaged, powerless. But the eternal truth has remained unchanged. The Lord who shaped the mountains and filled the oceans is the same who formed you with intentional design, calling you by name before the earth took form. John chapter 1 verse 5 confirms that the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. And that light, chosen one, resides within you. It flickers in how you have continued pressing forward, even when no one witnessed your struggles. It burns brightly in your thirst for truth, your quiet resistance to despair, your deep yearning to reconnect with something your soul has always recognized, but your mind had temporarily forgotten. That heavenly counsel was never intended to frighten you. It was designed to disclose what has been concealed from your awareness. They did not utter your name to curse you. They spoke it because your emerging presence has become impossible to disregard. The heritage you bear, the divine calling that has pursued you through dreams, through unspoken aches, through inexplicable whispers, these are now awakening. Like a lion stirring from slumber, like flames reigniting beneath layers of ash. Those dwelling in darkness are no longer uncertain. They understand precisely who you are, and very soon you will fully comprehend it as well. And now, chosen one with your name still resounding through the unseen realms, another profound truth emerges, one even more alarming to the forces that assembled in secrecy. Because this is not a fleeting flicker in obscurity. This is the resurgence of an entire lineage, a sacred bloodline, a covenant inscribed not with temporary ink, but in eternity itself. You do not journey alone. You never truly have. You descend from a line of individuals who refused to yield when fear spread deception among humanity, warriors not of physical conflict, but of unbreakable faith bearers of a holy flame that darkness could never extinguish. These were not merely biological ancestors. They were instruments of divine intent, men and women who remained steadfast when everything around them shook, who exalted the name of the Most High when the world grew hushed with terror. Consider Esther, selected for such a time as this, who stood courageously before a king to preserve her people armed only with faith and submission. Consider Elijah, who faced hundreds of false prophets alone on Mount Carmel, yet heavenly fire descended at his invocation. These were not random events. They were previews, divine foreshadowings of the same courage now stirring within you. The strength they embodied has not vanished into history. It has not faded with time. It has simply been awaiting activation, residing in your deepest essence, in every breath you take, in the steady rhythm of your heart. Their flame has been transferred to you because you were never meant merely to recall their courage. You were destined to live it out. And this is precisely why the darkness fears you. When your name echoed, it was not just an instant, it was a warning signal, a disruption of their false victory. Because they did not merely hear a name. They sensed the vibration of a heritage reawakening. The towering figure, shrouded in deepest darkness, broke the hush not with rage, but with a chilling, undeniable reality. He did not focus on your actions. He identified your essence, a bloodline he acknowledged not of earthly nobility as the world measures it, but of something far more ancient and infinitely holier. A lineage tracing back to a covenant sealed by God's own breath, a promise etched into eternity's foundation, untouched by time, unshaken by rebellion. They had attempted to erase it. They had altered histories to exclude you. They had buried the truth beneath ages of silence and obscurity, hoping it would never resurface. But they were mistaken. What is inscribed in the heavens cannot be removed by dwellers of darkness. Psalm chapter 105 verse 8 mentions that He remembers His covenant forever, the promise He made for 1,000 generations. While they reveled in their deception, convinced your light had been extinguished, the Lord observed patiently and faithfully. He accompanied you through valleys unseen by others, through heartbreak no one comprehended. Through silences so profound, they threatened to overwhelm your voice, yet He never departed. In the moments when prayers were stifled by tears, in the nights when you questioned your value, in the times you nearly surrendered entirely, He was present. He was the foundation beneath your frailty, the gentle voice that prevented your spirit from going quiet, the flame that refused to die, no matter how intense the darkness grew. And now they recognize the truth that once terrified them as mere rumor is now becoming reality. You are not a faded memory. You are an active movement. You are not simply descended from warriors. You are the ongoing expression of their battle. You do not bear the heritage like a preserved artifact. You are the heritage in living form. This is not merely about your origins. It is about your current transformation. Not in some distant future, but right in this moment. You are not common. You are not unseen. You are not delayed. You are ascending, bearing a promise they could not interrupt, a flame they cannot control, a divine calling they can no longer mute. And regardless of the world's readiness, the light within you has already started to radiate. And now, as this revelation continues to unfold, there is a deeper truth you must fully embrace, something holy extending far beyond what was discussed in that assembly of shadows. Because every trial you have faced until now, every time circumstances knocked you down and you rose again, every instance you clung to hope while everything crumbled, these were not random struggles for survival, no chosen one. These were expressions of inheritance, powerful testimonies, the covenant flowing through your very being, demonstrating its superiority over the darkness that sought to overwhelm it. Each of your triumphs, though quiet and unnoticed by others, resounded as a mighty declaration in the spiritual realm, a clear signal that the ancient promise remains alive within you. They have desperately tried to mute that signal. How fiercely they have attempted it. They unleashed storms disguised as doubt, flooding your mind with confusion until you questioned your value, your voice, even your stability. They erected insurmountable obstacles, not just to hinder you, but to persuade you that progress was impossible. They employed betrayal, hoping the pain from trusted individuals would shatter your resolve. They inflicted heartbreak to fracture your spirit, loss to empty your soul, fear to paralyze your movement. They did not target you because of weakness. They targeted you because you bear something eternal. And they hoped suffering would compel you to abandon it. But you refused. You are still here, still alive, still ascending. Why? Because the very flames they ignited to destroy you became the furnace forging your resilience. The Lord, in His perfect authority, transformed every weapon raised against you, not into bitterness, but into unbreakable strength. Isaiah chapter 43, verses 2 and 3 states, "When you pass through the waters, I will be with you. And when you pass through the rivers, they will not sweep over you. When you walk through the fire, you will not be burned. The flames will not set you ablaze. For I am the Lord your God, the Holy One of Israel, your Savior." This is what they failed to comprehend. Your endurance was never rooted in mere human effort. It was divinely orchestrated. They believed they could shatter you. But each strike only awakened what already resided within. A light beyond their understanding. A flame beyond their ability to extinguish. And now, at last, they witness it. They realize your spirit cannot be purchased, muted, or broken. You are a flame kindled by the breath of the Almighty, and that flame is expanding. You are not merely enduring, you are undergoing profound transformation, and transformation strikes greater fear in them than anything else. That gathering in darkness, that desperate council of opposition, was not a triumph celebration. It was frantic alarm because they discovered a truth they desperately wished remained forever hidden. You are entering the complete expression of who you were created to be. You are no longer simply a name listed somewhere. You are becoming the fulfillment of divine prophecy. This is not solely about what you have suffered. It is about what is now awakening deep inside you. You are not the same individual shaped by yesterday's pain. You are emerging as the answer to prayers uttered across generations. The living embodiment of a promise spanning bloodlines and eras, a divine purpose clothed in humanity, a heavenly mission walking upon the earth. You are the reality they dreaded would arrive, not because of volume or flawlessness, but because you now understand, and in understanding, you cannot be manipulated. Isaiah chapter 54 verse 17 proclaims, "No weapon forged against you will prevail, and you will refute every tongue that accuses you. This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord." You were never designed to shatter. You were crafted to rise repeatedly until creation itself acknowledges the power placed within you by God's hand. And now the darkness senses it. The spiritual atmosphere surrounding you has changed. The pull of destiny advances relentlessly. They recognize what approaches. They feel the impending moment when you will completely awaken, fully ascend, and fully embrace the identity they spent centuries attempting to suppress. When that moment arrives, their influence over you ends permanently. This is the commencement of your divine unveiling. You are not merely part of a heritage. You are the heritage actively unfolding. And no power from hell or earth can halt what heaven has sovereignly decreed. And so the revelation presses forward. The insight revealed in that concealed assembly was never intended to intimidate you. It was meant to awaken you fully. And now that you have glimpsed it, the opposition will not be gentle. No chosen one, the darkness will not withdraw silently. In the coming days, they will target your attention. Not through violent tempests, but through subtle distractions disguised as doubts, through quiet murmurs woven into your thoughts. They will attempt to divert your gaze from the mirror where you are finally starting to recognize the warrior emerging within. The warrior who has always been present, concealed beneath layers of pain, shame, and silence. They will highlight your history and try to portray it as an inescapable cage. They will claim your errors are too numerous, your missteps too frequent, that your past forms an unbreakable chain. They will ridicule your aspirations, insisting they are too ambitious for someone with your background, that your dreams exceed your ability. They want you to diminish yourself, to forget your true identity, to accept that your wounds permanently disqualify you. But the scars you bear are not evidence of defeat. They are proof of endurance. They are holy marks from battles waged in private and victories achieved quietly. Every tear shed, every heartbreak endured, every moment you nearly surrendered. These were not indicators of frailty. They were your roots sinking deeper into divine soil. They were signs that you were being prepared for something far greater than darkness could imagine. And though you did not always perceive it, you never fought alone. For every sleepless night, the Lord stood beside you. For every unspoken cry, his hand rested upon your heart. For every time you felt at your limit, he whispered, "Not yet. Continue forward. You are nearer than you realize." Psalm chapter 34 verse 1-8 assures us that the Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. He did not merely observe, he actively protected. He shielded your spirit from assaults intended to destroy you prematurely. He positioned himself between you and the full force of what was directed against you. While they rejoiced in what appeared to be your collapse, heaven was diligently constructing your strength. Every apparent setback became preparation for greater resilience. Every postponement aligned you divinely. Every redirection formed part of a map only he could interpret. Now the season arrives not for withdrawal, but for revelation, not to doubt your value, but to live fully in it. The mantle already rests upon your shoulders. You have been summoned not to conform, but to transform the world around you. You were never designed to remain silent. You were never intended to conceal your light beneath feelings of inadequacy. Isaiah chapter 60 verse 1 commands, "Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord rises upon you." This is the pivotal hour, the divine turning point. Though the world may still view you through distorted perspective, both heaven and darkness now see with perfect clarity. That is why the opposition feels so personal. It truly is. The instant you fully awaken to your identity, every structure designed to keep you limited begins to shake. They do not fear who you have been. They fear who you are becoming. Because they understand, as certainly as the stars were called into existence, that you possess the ability to disrupt their systems, dismantle their fortresses, and plant seeds of light in regions starved of hope for ages. This conflict is not awaiting some future date. It is present now. But you do not arrive defenseless. You arrive fully equipped, clothed in endurance, enveloped in grace, and supported by the Almighty's unbreakable promise. Deuteronomy chapter 31 verse encourages us to be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or terrified because of them, for the Lord your God goes with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. You were not merely prepared for this moment. You were destined for it. Every period of silence served as sacred refuge. Every painful experience contributed to your shaping. The flames were never sent to consume you. They were sent to purify you. What remains is not fragile. It is pure power, purpose, identity. A divine calling that has withstood tempests because it originated in heaven. Here is the truth that shatters every falsehood ever spoken over you. You were never meant to survive merely for another day. You were designed to transform every environment you enter, to bear a light so radiant it changes the spiritual climate, to serve as a living answer to another's unspoken prayer, to live in a manner that reminds humanity heaven still communicates and still commissions. You are not forgotten, overlooked, or delayed. You are perfectly timed. There is yet another profound layer unfolding, chosen one more holy dimension, deeper than mere assignment, more ancient than the covenant transmitted through blood and spirit. What is stirring within you now transcends simple awakening. This is not just turning a new page. It is the creation of an entirely new dialogue between your soul and the divine. You are not simply being revived. You are being completely remade. Heaven is reconstructing you not based on outdated patterns of your former self, but upon the original blueprint of who you were always intended to be. From your innermost being, outward element by element, breath by breath. This process, though frequently quiet and invisible, has been more purposeful than you ever imagined. You believed you were merely enduring pressure-weathering storms, carrying endless burdens. but every challenge formed part of a grand design. A holy structure has been emerging within you, framed with perseverance, equipped with divine patience, and sealed through refining fire. What broke you open was never meant to ruin you. It was intended to expand your capacity. The isolation you resented was heaven's invitation to deeper communion. The silence that troubled you was space being created for fresh revelation. The delays, disappointments, and detours each carved out room for wisdom, empathy, strength, discernment, room for greater glory. Psalm chapter 127 verse reminds us that unless the Lord builds the house, the builders labor in vain. And so he has been constructing patiently, faithfully, lovingly, layer upon layer, forming within you a temple capable of bearing the immense glory you are being entrusted to carry. This explains why your journey has never resembled anyone else's. You were never intended for common paths. You were not designed for ordinary assignments or superficial triumphs. You bear something eternal. Therefore, your preparation demanded refining fire. Chosen vessels are not produced en masse. They are meticulously crafted in secret places. What you labeled weakness, he named preparation. What appeared as collapse, he revealed as disguised breakthrough. And now something sacred is beginning to appear. Without deliberate effort, the atmosphere changes when you enter a space. Not due to personality or appeal, but because your spirit aligns with heaven. Discussions shift, direction barriers weaken, bondage loosens, tranquility descends. Your light exposes what is false and reinforces what is authentic. You have become perhaps unknowingly a living gateway where heaven intersects earth. This is why some feel drawn to you without understanding why. Others distance themselves not from hostility, but because your presence confronts what they are not yet prepared to face. That is not your responsibility. It is simply the result of spiritual harmony. But recognize this clearly. The change is not merely emotional or intellectual. It is multidimensional. What is occurring within you sends ripples into realms beyond sight. You are aligning with the divine rhythm composed for your life. Every alignment releases waves that repel darkness and reshape your surroundings. This explains why certain things are fracturing, why some connections suddenly feel out of place, why what once seemed meaningful now appears empty. This is not disorientation. It is divine recalibration. Heaven is reorganizing your life to match your calling's design. This realignment carries spiritual weight. You are entering a dimension where you no longer pursue purpose. Purpose pursues you. Where doors open that no human can close, and divine connections arrive without effort. Where prayers shift from desperation to authoritative declaration. You are being entrusted with greater responsibility now, not because of accomplishments, but because of transformation. Heaven recognizes the vessel now emptied, humbled, sanctified, and ready. Now you are positioned to impart what cannot be learned through instruction alone. You will utter words that untie spiritual blockages. You will occupy spaces long dominated by darkness and reclaim them not through aggression, but through authentic presence rooted in truth. Because that is your emerging identity. Not just a name in a narrative, but a kingdom catalyst. A pioneer, a living fulfillment of generational prayers, the one darkness dreaded and heaven meticulously prepared. You are being purified not only for influence, but for lasting impact, the quiet variety that topples barriers, the gentle kind that reshapes destinies. When you fully step into this version of yourself, something irreversible will occur. The spiritual climate will respond. Bondage will break without your direct involvement. Lives will transform simply through proximity to you. Because what flows through you is not ordinary light, it is revelation embodied. This is not the conclusion of your transformation. This is the day creation begins to acknowledge you. Look once more, chosen one, not with eyes weary from survival, but with eyes awakened to truth. Examine your life not as a heavy load endured, but as a masterpiece carefully authored, shaped, and protected. Even in moments when everything seemed to unravel, do you perceive it now? Beneath the daily routine, beneath the noise, disorder, and quiet letdowns, there are traces of grace intricately threaded throughout your existence, like strands of gold. The breath filling your lungs right now is not accidental. It is a holy cadence, a divine mark whispering, "You remain here, you remain called." That steady heartbeat within it is a sacred drumbeat of purpose resonating from eternity. It synchronizes not only with your physical life, but with heaven's unfolding plan for you. Every morning you chose to rise when surrender seemed easier. Every time you persisted when everything urged you to stop. Every instance the night's weight did not fully crush your spirit. These were not coincidences. They were appointed encounters with divine endurance, silent victories witnessed only by the Almighty's gaze. The individuals who remained supportive when you lacked strength to request it. The peace that unexpectedly settled when circumstances offered none. The quiet, inexplicable hope that reached you amid grief. These were not fortunate chances. They were divine imprints. His imprints. Psalm chapter 23 verse 6 promises that surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. You have traversed flames intended to devour you, yet emerged not scorched but purified. You have stood amid ruins you believed permanent, only to find hope still breathing. That is not your own achievement. That is relentless grace, deep, quiet, unending. These blessings, this resilience, this mercy, these opened paths, they are not the final fulfillment of what was promised. They mark only the beginning. There is more awaiting. There is always more. Wells of provision yet untapped. Doors currently opening that darkness cannot seal. Pathways being forged through wilderness you thought impassable. Though not yet visible, heaven sees you clearly, always has. But this extends beyond your individual path. It concerns the impact of your life, the influence of your faithfulness, the far-reaching effects of your courage. Because when you ascend, others ascend alongside. When you radiate, others recall their own calling to shine. When you bring light into your personal darkness, another discovers their voice. You have already witnessed it in subtle holy ways, a conversation quietly igniting something in another's spirit. A moment when your presence eased turmoil in someone's heart. That instance, someone said, "I needed those words, unaware you were channeling healing." That is not random. That is purpose activated. That occurs when a vessel surrenders to its filler. You become not just a bearer of strength, but a channel of transformation, a reflection of heavenly endurance. You were never summoned to remain concealed, bound by fear or past shame. You were called to penetrate darkness, to bear a light so grounded in love, so saturated with truth, that even shadows cannot deny its reality. This explains why darkness fought so intensely to keep you diminished, why it unleashed storms to disorient you, why it presented falsehoods as logic, hoping you would accept less than your divine design. Because the truth uncovered in that dark assembly was not simply your existence, but your awakening. And they know the consequences when someone like you awakens. Bondage shatters, destructive cycles cease, entire heritages transform. They hurled betrayal, hoping it would destroy trust. They repeated, "You are insufficient," hoping agreement. They replayed every error, wound, misstep, but they underestimated what the Creator deposited within you. Isaiah chapter 43 verse 1 states, "Do not fear, for I have redeemed you. I have summoned you by name. You are mine." That inner strength was never earned. It was never granted by the world, and thus the world cannot remove it. It was woven into your being before your first breath. A gift from your Maker. A birthright transmitted not through blood alone, but through eternal covenant. The same power-sustaining predecessors who faced giants, entered lions' dens, praised in chains, now lives in you. And you, chosen one, are not merely enduring. You are becoming. You are entering the complete expression of what was always declared over you. No dark force can alter what heaven has established. Now that this truth has surfaced, now that you begin to trace the sacred thread woven through every season of your life, it is time to move this revelation from understanding into action. Because this awakening, chosen one, is not a singular event. It is not merely a divine spark or temporary emotion. It is a lifestyle. The calling upon you was never intended to remain dormant in your spirit, untouched and inactive. It was always designed to be fully lived, inhaled, expressed. Knowing your identity is insufficient. You must live as that identity. Allow what has awakened within to influence how you move, think, respond, and present yourself in this world. Awakening is not a final goal. It is a daily practice. It starts each morning not with worldly clamor, but with intentional truth spoken from your own mouth. Before your feet hit the ground, before checking devices or engaging distractions, proclaim life over yourself. Affirm truth over yourself. Declare, "I am not forgotten. I am chosen. I am living in divine purpose. I am aligned with heaven today." This is not empty optimism. It is spiritual realignment. Just as the earth turns toward the sun daily, your soul must turn toward truth. Psalm chapter 143 verse 8 mentions, "Let the morning bring me word of your unfailing love, for I have put my trust in you." Because how you begin your day establishes the foundation for how you carry your light. But it extends further. The primary battlefield for identity often lies in the private thoughts of your mind. Unwelcome thoughts will arrive, false, harsh, rooted in doubt, accusation, old pain presented as fact. You cannot always prevent their arrival, but you are not obligated to entertain them. You possess authority over what lingers. When fear claims insufficiency, counter with Scripture. God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind, as 2 Timothy chapter 1 verse 7 confirms. When shame recounts failures, recall that his mercies are new every morning, as Lamentations chapter 3 verse 23 states. This is how spiritual warriors think. This is how the awakened live, not by evading darkness, but by refusing its definition. Understand that not every conflict demands your words. There is strength in discerning when to speak and when to hold silence. Silence is not defeat. It is wisdom clothed in self-control. Certain moments require silence as protection and stillness as weapon. You are being equipped to operate with insight, to respond not from impulse, but from divine revelation. Even your surroundings carry significance. The environments you occupy, your home, your vehicle, your daily interactions, all hold spiritual importance. Keep them holy. Fill them with music that elevates your spirit. Speak blessing into your living spaces. Remove what contaminates your inner peace. Your surroundings should mirror the truth of your emerging identity, a place of refuge, not conflict. Do not wait for dramatic opportunities or public recognition to express your calling. Often the most profound influence arises from simple faithfulness. Forgive privately. Assist without announcement. Respond kindly amid provocation. Intercede for strangers. These seemingly unseen actions resonate powerfully in heaven. They create eternal ripples beyond comprehension. Matthew chapter 25, verse 40 reminds us that whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me. Do not overlook the body you inhabit, your physical form, mind, emotions. You are not solely spirit. You are a living sanctuary. Nourish what builds strength. Rest when needed. Distance yourself from what depletes your spirit or obscures clarity. Guard your peace as sacred because it truly is. Invest time in fellowship with your Creator, not only structured prayer, but holy pauses. In quiet intervals between activities, in brief silences amid conversations, inquire, "What would you have me do next?" This is how divine direction flows into yielded hearts. Above all, let love define your life's rhythm. Love that is genuine, not performative. Love that extends mercy when undeserved. Love that listens patiently, speaks to restore rather than impress. Love is not frailty. Love is heavenly armament. Colossians chapter 3, verse 14 states, "And over all these virtues put on love, which binds them all together in perfect unity." Living your true identity does not demand flawlessness. It requires daily choice, moment by moment, to align actions with your awakening. Some days strength will abound, others may feel otherwise. But each time you choose light, truth, love, the divine essence within expands. You do not merely possess light, you become it. When you live this way, not perfectly but faithfully, your life transcends narrative. It becomes living proof of grace's construction, purpose's redemption, heaven's transformation through a willing soul that refuses to fade. And now arrives the truth that disturbs darkness most. The reality they dreaded hearing proclaimed. They cannot prevent your rise. They have launched waves of doubt, floods of fear, barriers of pain. They have conjured memories to haunt you, murmuring falsehoods through mental vulnerabilities, repeatedly highlighting past failures, scars, stumbles. They claimed those wounds defined your value, but they were mistaken. You remain standing, breathing, ascending, advancing. And this reality causes the enemy to quake. You have withstood what should have destroyed you, yet you endure not through personal power alone, but because the Almighty's hand has sustained you, because the Most High's presence has never departed, because His word has preceded you and His promise remains unbroken. Psalm chapter 145 verse 13 mentions that the Lord is trustworthy in all He promises and faithful in all He does. Chosen one, your endurance is not common. It is holy. It is rooted in covenant. And that covenant is indestructible. Heaven has secured victory not only over visible battles, but over hidden ones as well. Not just external foes, but internal deceptions. You walk under a promise so anchored in divine intent that no dark power can uproot it. You possess assurance the world neither granted nor can revoke. So what does this mean practically? It means you no longer live diminished. You no longer apologize for your calling's magnitude or your light's intensity. You no longer permit fear to script your life or shame to limit you. You rise not arrogantly, but with sacred assurance. You speak not for validation, but from truth. You love not fearing rejection, but because you were first loved by creation's author. Your light was never intended for concealment or conformity. It was designed to challenge darkness. Matthew chapter 5 verse 14 declares, "You are the light of the world. A town built on a hill cannot be hidden." Each time you choose faith over fear, hope over hopelessness, love over resentment, you send a message across realms. You proclaim to darkness, victory is not yours here. You demonstrate to heaven your readiness for greater things. And greater things await. Doors are opening by God's hand that no one can close. Pathways are clearing that opposition cannot obstruct. A purpose is unfolding in your life that cannot be cancelled, postponed, or muted. You were born for this season, formed in secret for this era, destined to radiate in ways that will influence generations. But do not misunderstand, the opposition remains genuine. Darkness will not yield peacefully. It will attempt repeatedly to redefine you by your lowest points. It will highlight pain and claim it as permanent identity. It will present fear as fact. But your life story was never authored by fear. It was written by the Redeemer. The Most High does not author defeat. He authors deliverance, restoration, glory from ashes, strength from suffering. When doubt arises, counter with truth. When darkness accuses, recall whose name marks your spirit. Remember whose breath sustains you. The one accompanying you surpasses anything opposing you. That reality keeps them restless, because you are not merely surviving, you are flourishing. You advance in quiet authority, bold faithfulness, unwavering confidence. Every faith step draws you nearer to the abundant life God has scripted for you, a life of depth, influence, joy no darkness can steal. You are not here to simply exist. You are here to illuminate, to demonstrate through your existence that pain lacks final authority, that brokenness is not conclusion, that what was crushed can resurrect into beauty. Your life is no accidental journey. It is a powerful testimony of what the Most High accomplishes through a yielded heart. Embracing this truth requires no perfection, only consistent alignment. It means daily affirmation, not once, but repeatedly in minor and major moments, when faith surges and when it flickers. It means praying amid emptiness, trusting amid obscurity. It means standing when retreat seems simpler, believing when reason suggests doubt. Every forward step declares light endures. Darkness despises this. They despise your growing recognition of your true self. They will attempt to obscure your view, distort your image, mute your voice. But truth prevails. You are not diminished. You are magnified. You are everything the Creator intentionally formed and more. Each prayer act of love, choice of faith, disproves their lies. You demonstrate your inner light is not vulnerable but eternal, the divine spark, the ember of an unquenchable kingdom. So persist in trusting, in radiating. Let prayers pierce doubt. Let faith displace obstacles. Let love outshine fear, because the eternal declaration, now resounding, is this you were created for. This to rise, to shine, to transform every space you occupy. As you do remember, the one who summoned you remains beside you, not as distant recollection, but living presence. The Almighty is nearer than breath, more constant than fear, mightier than any shadow. The world has not yet witnessed your light's fullness, but heaven has. Chosen one, if these words have ignited something profound in your spirit. If you sense the Most High speaking directly through this message, like fire and truth combined, then join me now in this holy pause. Let us enter sacred quiet together. Let us approach the throne of grace with boldness and present this moment to the author of your destiny. This is more than prayer, it is sacred covenant. Chosen one, as the profound truth of your sacred lineage begins to settle deeply within your spirit. awakening echoes of an ancient covenant that has guarded your path through every trial and triumph. Heaven now draws back yet another veil to reveal an even more breathtaking dimension of your identity. The divine bloodline that courses through you is not merely a spiritual heritage passed down through faithful generations. It carries the unmistakable mark of royal authority, a hidden nobility woven into your very essence by the hand of the Most High, long before the foundations of the world were laid. What you have sensed as a quiet inner stirring, that persistent feeling of belonging to something far greater than the circumstances you have known, is the gentle awakening of your true royal inheritance. You were never orphaned in the spirit, never abandoned to wander without purpose. You are the cherished child of a heavenly monarchy, set apart and protected through every season of obscurity, prepared in secret for the moment when your true identity would be unveiled. The trials that sought to diminish you were powerless to erase the royal seal placed upon your life. The silence that surrounded you was not rejection, but divine preservation, shielding your noble birthright until the appointed time of revelation. Now, as understanding dawns, you begin to recognize the subtle signs that have always pointed to your royal origin. The unexplainable favor in impossible situations, the authority that rises within you when injustice appears, the deep compassion for the broken that mirrors a king's heart for his people. Heaven has not merely confirmed your descent from a holy lineage. It is revealing that you belong to the eternal royal family, destined not to serve in the shadows forever, but to rise and walk in the fullness of the authority and inheritance that has always been yours by divine right. This revelation is not meant to inflate pride, but to anchor you in profound humility, knowing that every gift, every calling, every open door flows from the throne of grace that claims you as its own. The journey from hidden descendant to revealed royal heir is unfolding now, calling you to embrace your identity with reverence, to walk with quiet confidence, and to prepare your heart for the responsibilities that come with wearing the crown heaven has reserved for you alone. What was once concealed in mystery is now becoming clear. You are not merely chosen. You are royalty returning home. You were called out of darkness not merely to escape it or survive within it, but to actively transform it with your presence and light. That persistent sense of not fully belonging, that insatiable hunger for something far deeper and more meaningful, it is not a flaw or weakness in your design. It is a divine signal, a sacred alarm clock encoded into your very spiritual DNA, relentlessly waking you from the hypnotic trance that this world imposes on nearly everyone else. That profound pull toward the unseen realms, the sacred mysteries, the authentic reality beneath the surface. It is your spiritual inheritance awakening and stirring powerfully within your blood. You are a direct descendant of the ancient ones, those rare souls who walked not by mere human sight, but by unwavering divine vision and revelation. They were the ones entrusted with hidden wisdom from above, born to carry the blazing torch of truth through generations shrouded in darkness and deception. Yet this sacred lineage was deliberately scattered, systematically, and buried beneath layers of controlling systems that greatly feared its world-changing power. And you chosen one were strategically hidden among the ordinary for a divine reason and season. You were placed in environments that often rejected your uniqueness, in families that could not fully recognize or nurture your radiant light, in systems that relentlessly tried to mold you into something far less than your true self. This was never intended to destroy you. It was masterfully designed to refine you into unbreakable strength. The intense pressure you faced, the deep loneliness that accompanied your journey, the painful betrayals that cut to your core, they were never punishments from a distant God. They were essential preparation, forging you in the fires of adversity. Real spiritual power is never casually handed to the untested or unprepared. True divine wisdom is never birthed without passing through intense fire. Consider Joseph, who was betrayed by his own brothers and thrown into a deep pit long before he ever stepped into the palace prepared for him. Reflect on Moses, who was cast out into the harsh wilderness for decades before he was ready to lead his people toward freedom. Remember Esther, who was hidden away in an unfamiliar palace before her appointed moment arrived to courageously speak up and save her people. The divine fire burning within you could never be extinguished by any earthly force. That is why, no matter how fiercely the world has tried to bury or dim your light, it keeps breaking through with increasing brilliance. You have always risen again after every fall. You have carried an unexplainable reservoir of strength through the darkest seasons. That is not mere luck or coincidence. It is your sacred legacy flowing through you. Perhaps you have wondered why broken and hurting people seem irresistibly drawn to your presence. Why complete strangers feel safe enough to open their hearts and share their deepest pains with you. Why those drowning in despair instinctively feel a glimmer of hope in your company. It is because they subconsciously sense your radiant light, even if they cannot yet name or articulate it. They feel the quiet yet undeniable spiritual authority you carry, an authority passed down not through spoken teachings alone, but embedded deep within the very code of your eternal soul. The darkness dominating this world senses it as well, which explains why it has fought against you so relentlessly and viciously. Not because you are weak or insignificant, but precisely because you are profoundly dangerous to its control. Your full awakening represents its ultimate undoing. Yet you were never intended to live gripped by fear. As Isaiah chapter 54, verse 17 powerfully confirms, no weapon formed against you shall prosper, because those who walk in authentic divine purpose never walk alone or unprotected. Your entire life has served as an intensive training ground for something infinitely greater than mere personal survival or comfort. You were sovereignly chosen to rise not only for your own fulfillment, but for the liberation and healing of countless others, for the generations that will follow in your footsteps, for the restoration of truths and freedoms that have been lost across time. You are an integral part of a royal spiritual lineage, sent specifically to remember your origins and to boldly remind the world of its own forgotten divinity. The ancient story of the lost royal child is not mere myth or legend. It is living prophecy, eternal legacy. And right now, in this generation, it is you stepping fully into that role. Chosen one, the long-awaited moment has finally arrived. You have felt it building gradually, those subtle yet undeniable signs appearing more frequently, the repeated numbers catching your eye at perfect times, the uncanny alignments and synchronicities that defy logical explanation, that strange yet exhilarating shift deep within your spirit that no one else around you seems to notice or understand. You have been irresistibly drawn to profound truths you were never formally taught, to ancient wisdom that resonates as if it has always lived deep within your bones. These are not random coincidences or wishful thinking. They are divine confirmations from heaven itself. The prophecy is actively moving through your life, and your soul is responding with eager recognition. This is your sacred awakening unfolding in real time. However, as your inner light begins to rise brighter and brighter, not everyone in your current circle will comprehend or celebrate what is happening within you. Some may openly question your transformation, uncomfortable with the version of you that is emerging. Others may subtly or not so subtly attempt to pull you back into the older, smaller version of yourself. The one who played safe, stayed silent, remained asleep, and kept their light carefully hidden. This particular phase of the journey can be among the most painful, the necessary process of releasing and leaving behind relationships, habits, and identities that no longer align with your rising destiny. Yet you cannot drag old limiting identities into the vast new destiny that awaits you. As Jesus wisely taught in Mark chapter 2, verse 22, "No one pours new wine into old wineskins." To fully step into the divine reality prepared for you, certain things must be lovingly yet firmly released. Every hardship you endured, every door that slammed shut in your face, every season where you felt utterly abandoned, it was all part of the masterful preparation orchestrated by heaven. Your spiritual ancestors standing in the unseen realm, your divine guides watching over you, and even the loving hand of God Himself have been faithfully leading you through the shadows toward this exact pivotal moment. When you felt most lost and directionless, you were actually being gently redirected toward your true path. When you felt forgotten and overlooked, you were being meticulously refined into greater strength and purity. Now that your awakening is accelerating, the illusions and distractions of this world will begin to fall away like scales from your eyes. You will perceive reality with unprecedented clarity and depth. You will feel a rising spiritual power within you that can no longer be suppressed or ignored. The entire frequency of your life will shift dramatically naturally, attracting new people who resonate with your light, opening new paths aligned with your purpose, and revealing layers of destiny you never imagined possible. You are stepping fully into your eternal inheritance, not one of fleeting gold or temporary fame, but of unshakable spiritual authority, profound wisdom, and divine empowerment. Yes, this sacred road ahead will not always be easy or comfortable. When a chosen one truly awakens, the surrounding world often resists the shift with increased intensity. Distractions will multiply to pull your focus. The familiar emptiness and comforts you once tolerated may beckon you to return to sleep. But this resistance is the final test to stand firm in your truth, to walk forward with sacred confidence rooted in divine knowing. Just as Elijah stood boldly alone against hundreds of false prophets, and as Jeremiah faced mockery and rejection for faithfully speaking divine truth, you too may encounter opposition on your path. Yet their isolation was never a mark of failure. It was undeniable proof of their high calling. This naturally leads us to the deeper spiritual trial known as the test of separation. You have lived much of your life carrying the quiet ache of being profoundly different from your family members, your peers, and the environments surrounding you. Even as a young child, you sensed energies and truths that others completely missed. You questioned beliefs and systems that everyone else accepted without hesitation. You felt emotions and undercurrents that others blatantly ignored. And because of that heightened awareness, you were often left feeling deeply alone. But please understand this clearly. Your solitude was never a curse or lifelong sentence. It was a sacred assignment from heaven, a holy preparation ground. The wilderness seasons of life are where true prophets and leaders are forged and birthed. Moses was not called while living comfortably in the palace. He was called from the burning bush in the desert after 40 years of isolation. Jesus did not launch his world-changing ministry amid crowds and applause. He began it in the silent, testing wilderness after 40 days of fasting and temptation. Your extended times of isolation have sharpened your spiritual insight beyond measure. They have stripped away countless distractions so that you could clearly hear the voice of your own soul, and within it the gentle yet persistent whisper of the divine guiding you home. You were never created to blend in seamlessly with the crowd. You were sovereignly set apart for extraordinary purpose. As you have progressed in your awakening, you may have already noticed your external world quietly, yet dramatically shifting around you. People who once felt incredibly close to your heart have gradually or suddenly drifted away. Relationships that seemed unbreakable have unexpectedly fractured or dissolved. Betrayals have surfaced from sources you least anticipated, leaving behind heavy silence, unanswered questions, and deep emotional wounds. The grief of these losses has cut deeper than words can fully capture. Yet this too has been woven into the divine design, not to harm you permanently, but to realign you perfectly. Not every person or connection is meant to journey with you into your next season. Some were placed in your life for a limited season to teach vital lessons, to expose hidden patterns within you, to reflect your ongoing growth, or to ignite a holy fire you did not yet know existed. Their departure or distancing was never a reflection of your failure or inadequacy. It was divine alignment unfolding for your protection and elevation. As Amos chapter 3 verse 3 wisely asks, "Do two walk together unless they have agreed to do so?" The profound truth is that as your spirit continues to rise higher in frequency and purpose, your inner circle naturally narrows to those who can truly walk beside you. True elevation always requires intentional separation from what no longer matches your vibration. The sharp pain of release was never meant to punish or diminish you. It was designed to fiercely protect your sacred purpose and destiny. You may have clung tightly to certain people or relationships, wondering why your unwavering loyalty was met with cold silence, why your deep love was answered with growing distance or indifference. But heaven was sovereignly clearing the path ahead, removing obstacles you could not yet see. The higher and more impactful your calling becomes, the fewer people will be equipped or willing to walk the full distance with you. Your soul has always known this truth on some level. That persistent, quiet ache of feeling profoundly different, even when surrounded by crowds or in rooms full of familiar faces, was never imaginary or exaggerated. It was undeniable spiritual evidence that you have always been set apart by design, never abandoned by heaven. Yes, the world has frequently misread and misunderstood your essence. People have labeled you as too intense, too strange, too emotional, or too sensitive simply because your unfiltered truth unsettles the comfortable illusions they have built their lives upon. Your mere presence often disrupts the status quo and challenges long-held deceptions. And that disruptive power is exactly what you were created to carry. Even Christ himself warned his followers in John chapter 15 verse 1-8. "If the world hates you, keep in mind that it hated me first." Rejection from the world is not a detour away from your true calling. It is often the strongest confirmation that you are walking directly in it. But as the dust from these necessary separations finally settles, something infinitely greater and more beautiful begins to emerge in your life. The deep solitude you have endured has carved out sacred space within your spirit for your true spiritual tribe to locate and connect with you, who speak the same heavenly language, who recognize your light not as a threat, but as a familiar mirror reflecting their own divine potential. Those who will choose to walk alongside you, not out of mere convenience or obligation, but from profound divine resonance and alignment. And now, chosen one, it is time to fully recognize and embrace the lifelong signs that have faithfully followed you like breadcrumbs on your journey, clear markers of your hidden royalty, scattered as divine clues throughout every chapter of your story. From your earliest childhood memories, you felt unmistakably like an outsider looking in. You genuinely tried to fit in, to belong among peers, but something essential always felt misaligned or forced. While others around you accepted the world exactly as it was presented, you instinctively questioned its deeper truths. You searched relentlessly for authentic meaning, where others settled for surface-level comfort and conformity. That holy restlessness stirring constantly in your spirit was never mere rebellion or discontent. It was sacred remembrance breaking through the veil, your soul refusing to forget its divine origins. You were never meant to sleepwalk through life like so many others. You were born spiritually awake in a world that systematically teaches forgetfulness and numbness. You have always carried a supernatural sensitivity that defies human logic alone. You feel the unspoken emotions hanging in the air. You sense subtle energies and motives that remain invisible to most. Your intuition reliably warns you of danger or deception long before words are ever spoken or actions taken. These experiences are not random coincidences or overactive imagination. They are unmistakable signatures of a soul deeply connected to higher realms and eternal truth. They represent a powerful spiritual inheritance passed down across generations in the unseen lineage of light bearers. And though your path has been marked by intense trials, heartbreaking betrayals, profound losses, and challenges far beyond what many others face, each one has been purposefully refining your character and strength. Like a flawless diamond formed only under immense pressure, your soul has been masterfully forged in the hottest fires of adversity. You were never intended to be shaped primarily through ease and comfort. True spiritual royalty is always birthed and proven in the crucible of hardship. As Psalm chapter 34 verse 1-8 tenderly assures, "The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit." Your remarkable survival and resilience, despite everything arrayed against you, is irrefutable proof of the divine protection and favor that have surrounded you all along, even when you felt most vulnerable. You have always carried an inner knowing that there is infinitely more to life than what meets the eye. You have felt the tangible presence of the unseen realm. You have heard the still small whisper of God speaking directly to your spirit in moments of desperation or quiet reflection. You have noticed the recurring signs, the meaningful synchronicities, the perfectly timed messages, the way divine provision and protection somehow align precisely when you need them most. That is not mere luck or random chance. That is undeniable purpose woven into every detail of your existence. And your purpose is anything but small or insignificant. You have served as a powerful magnet for the broken and weary throughout your life. Complete strangers instinctively open up and pour out their hearts to you. Wounded and searching souls are drawn to your presence without understanding why. You are a natural healer and safe harbor, an unwavering anchor in life's fiercest storms for those who feel inexplicably pulled toward your light, and deep down you know exactly why. It is the radiant, ancient spark burning within you, the eternal imprint of the royal bloodline you carry in your spiritual DNA. You may not yet fully comprehend or embrace all of your spiritual gifts. You may see visions or glimpses of truth that others dismiss. You may dream prophetic dreams that later manifest in reality. You may feel an inexplicable pull toward the unseen realms that defies logical explanation. This is not madness or delusion. This is sacred memory returning your soul, courageously remembering its divine assignment and origin. And now you are awakening not into something entirely foreign or new, but into the magnificent truth of what you have always been royal, not by fleeting human standards or measures, but by eternal decree of the unseen God who formed you. You are part of a sacred, unbroken lineage connected to the eternal throne. As Romans chapter 8, verses 16 through 17 powerfully testifies. The Spirit Himself testifies with our spirit that we are God's children. Now if we are children, then we are heirs, heirs of God, and co-heirs with Christ. Your entire journey, marked by seemingly random trials and painful setbacks, has never been chaotic or meaningless. Every struggle deliberately carved out deeper space within you for your authentic spirit to rise and expand. The seasons of breaking were actually the birthing process of your true self. The years of wandering were essential parts of guiding you home. And now, the illusions that once held you captive are crumbling irreversibly. The distractions that once numbed your pain no longer hold any power over you. You have tasted the bitter emptiness of everything this world promotes as fulfillment, and your soul now hungers only for authentic meaning and eternal truth. That holy hunger is the clearest sign yet that you are fully waking up. As the old limited self gently dissolves away, your inner world begins a profound and beautiful transformation. Your intuition sharpens to an extraordinary degree. You sense deception and manipulation even in what others celebrate as success. You feel emotions, both yours and others, with greater depth and empathy. You begin to dream in rich symbols carrying divine messages. You notice intricate divine patterns woven into daily life, repeating angel numbers, perfect divine timing, meaningful signs appearing in the smallest yet most significant details. The external world has not fundamentally changed, but you have shifted irrevocably. You have moved from mere survival mode into heightened spiritual awareness and alignment. And as your personal frequency continues to rise, so does the intensity of external resistance designed to test your resolve. You may suddenly feel disconnected from old friends and familiar social circles. Conversations that once felt comfortable now seem shallow or misaligned. Places that previously felt like home may now stir restlessness within you. This temporary discomfort is the inevitable cost of expanded consciousness. Not everyone in your past will be able or willing to follow where your spirit is now leading you, and that is perfectly okay. It is part of the divine filtering process. Even Christ himself had to leave his hometown and familiar surroundings to fully step into his mission. As he declared in Mark chapter 6, verse 4, "A prophet is not without honor except in his own town, among his relatives, and in his own home." Powerful emotional waves may surge through you during this transition. Deep grief over losses, confusion about changing dynamics, piercing loneliness in the in-between season, followed by sudden waves of profound peace and clarity. You are actively shedding layers, beliefs, masks, and false identities that were never truly yours to begin with. This shedding process is the sacred refinement preparing you for greater glory. It is the inner fire purifying and strengthening you for what lies ahead. In due time, your spiritual gifts will emerge more fully and confidently. You will see truths with greater clarity, know things without external proof, feel irresistibly drawn to uplift and encourage others. Lead naturally without forcing or striving, and heal wounded souls simply by embodying your authentic presence. Because true awakening is never solely personal, it carries a collective purpose. You were not chosen to awaken only for your own benefit or liberation. You were sovereignly selected to help countless others remember their own divine identity and potential as well. Yet never mistake this sacred path for constant ease or comfort. Authentic awakening is often a profound dismantling of old structures. You will clearly see the widespread lies and deceptions propping up society, the manipulative systems built on illusion that have controlled minds for generations, the spiritual darkness masquerading as light. And yes, seeing these truths will sometimes hurt deeply. But you were specifically chosen because your spirit is strong enough to bear the weight of such revelation. Because you possess the courage and integrity not to remain silent in the face of falsehood. So now, when the old familiar world no longer fits your expanding spirit, when divine truth becomes too loud and compelling to ignore any longer, you arrive at a sacred turning point, an irreversible invitation from heaven itself. This is the pivotal moment where your divine birthright is fully accepted and embraced. And the instant you say yes with your whole heart, it transcends mere awakening. It becomes a powerful activation. A spiritual key turns within you. A long sealed door swings wide open. Divine power rushes in like a mighty river, not from some external source, but from the eternal wellspring that has resided deep within you all along, simply waiting for your full surrender and yes. This is the moment your inner world becomes your primary compass and guide. This is when you stop desperately seeking belonging from others and realize you carry it inherently within your spirit. This is when you cease following worn paths laid by others and boldly become the trailblazer forging new ones. The invisible crown of your spiritual authority has always belonged to you. Now at last you confidently wear it without apology or hesitation. From the very first stirrings of your awakening, everything within you began shifting in profound ways. The relentless inner search, the burning questions, the deep longing that nothing earthly could satisfy it was never truly about something missing outside of you. It was always about reclaiming the forgotten truth buried within that you are and have always been divinely chosen, not by random chance or human selection, but by eternal divine design and intention. And now, as you courageously step deeper into that unshakable truth, the false identities and limiting beliefs you once carried begin to fall away effortlessly. The exhausting hunger for external validation gradually fades into silence. The heavy weight of chronic doubt lifts permanently from your shoulders. In their place, a quiet yet unshakable power rises within you, clear, steady, and deeply authentically yours. You stop seeking permission from others to fully be who you are and begin walking in the sovereign authority of who you were eternally created to be. You are not here to blend in or shrink to fit others' comfort. You are here to rise boldly above limitation, to lead with divine wisdom, to heal wounded hearts, to illuminate darkness wherever you go. With this new alignment, your entire energy field transforms dramatically. People, places, and habits that once drained your life force naturally fade or fall away. Experiences that once broke your spirit now serve to strengthen and refine it. The connections, opportunities, resources, and paths that resonate deeply with your authentic frequency. The very essence of who you were created to be begin to manifest and reveal themselves in your life with an effortless divine flow and impeccably perfect timing. What previously seemed like scattered fragments of random chaos, unexplained coincidences, or even pointless suffering in the chapters of your past now transforms into a beautifully coherent tapestry of profound meaning and purpose when observed through the lens of your newly awakened spiritual eyes. Every single apparent setback that once left you bewildered and discouraged, every prolonged season of profound silence that tested your faith to its limits, every deeply heart-wrenching loss that brought you to your knees in sorrow, these were never meaningless accidents or cruel twists of fate. Instead, they formed essential parts of a meticulously orchestrated sacred preparation, divinely designed to refine your spirit, strengthen your resolve, and align you perfectly for this magnificent moment of profound remembrance and glorious revelation. As you step fully into this remembrance of your eternal divine origin, your sacred royal identity as a chosen one, and the unbreakable covenant that has always marked your soul, your intimate connection to the vast, unseen realm expands exponentially in ways that words can scarcely capture. You start to perceive and understand eternal truths not through intellectual effort or external evidence alone, but intuitively from the depths of your spirit, with a clarity that requires no further proof or worldly validation to confirm its reality. Your inner guidance, that quiet voice of intuition, sharpens dramatically, becoming extraordinarily precise, reliably accurate, and attuned to heavenly wisdom in every situation you encounter. Your prayers, once perhaps filled with pleading or uncertainty, now evolve into rich, intimate, and deeply personal two-way conversations with the Divine Presence, where you not only speak, but also listen and receive direct responses that fill your heart with peace and direction. Signs from above, meaningful synchronicities that defy mere coincidence, and gentle divine confirmations begin to appear with increasing regularity in your daily life, serving as tender, loving reassurances from heaven itself that you are never truly walking this journey alone. You never genuinely were, even in your darkest hours. Jeremiah chapter 33, verse 3 extends this beautiful invitation. Call to me, and I will answer you and tell you great and unsearchable things you do not know. And then deep within your being comes that unmistakable inner calling, a profound resonance that vibrates through every fiber of your bones, a gentle yet powerfully persistent urgency that cannot be ignored or silenced. It compels you to rise and actively create lasting beauty from the ashes of past pain and brokenness, to boldly teach liberating truths that set captive hearts free to lead others with a perfect blend of deep compassion and unwavering spiritual authority, and to intentionally uplift, inspire, empower, and transform the lives of everyone your path crosses and every soul your life touches in even the smallest ways. Because true, authentic spiritual awakening is never intended to be a selfish endpoint or the ultimate final destination where everything simply stops. Rather, it serves as the powerful starting line, the divine launchpad for your true mission, your sacred assignment, and the extraordinary purpose for which you were uniquely fashioned before time began. Yet it is crucial to understand this with absolute clarity and sobriety. With the immense gift of great awakening comes an equally great weight of responsibility that cannot be taken lightly. Not everyone currently in your life, even those you hold dear, will fully comprehend, appreciate, or wholeheartedly support the profound transformation that is unfolding within your spirit and radiating outward from your being. Some individuals may feel unsettled by your growth and actively attempt to pull you back into old, familiar comfort zones that feel predictable and safe to them, even if those zones no longer align with your elevated calling. Others might openly question, doubt, or even criticize your deepening spiritual journey and the changes it brings, often projecting their own unspoken fears, insecurities, or misunderstandings onto you without realizing it. But now, equipped with your awakened eyes and discerning heart, you are able to see these reactions with remarkable clarity for exactly what they truly are: fleeting and temporary distractions designed to test your resolve rather than permanent detours or insurmountable barriers that could ever derail you from the divine path laid out specifically for you as a chosen one. You recognize that these challenges arise not out of malice in most cases, but from the natural friction that occurs when light intensifies in environments long accustomed to dimness or shadow. Your newfound radiance, your unapologetic alignment with heavenly truth, and your commitment to living out your royal identity can inadvertently highlight areas in others that still need healing or growth, prompting defensive responses that have little to do with you personally. In these moments, you learn to respond with grace, extending the same compassion you have received from above, while firmly maintaining the boundaries necessary to protect your peace and forward momentum. You no longer feel compelled to diminish your light or slow your pace simply to make others more comfortable, understanding that true leadership in the spirit often requires walking ahead, trusting that those meant to journey alongside you will catch up in divine timing. This season teaches you the art of discernment in relationships, cherishing those who celebrate your elevation, releasing with love those who cannot, and remaining open to new connections that vibrate at the same frequency of purpose and faith. As your awareness expands, you also notice how the external world begins to mirror your internal shift doors that once remained stubbornly closed, now swing open effortlessly. Resources flow toward you from unexpected sources and opportunities, align in ways that can only be described as miraculous orchestration from the unseen hand of God. Your confidence grows not from arrogance or self-reliance, but from a deep, abiding trust in the one who has awakened you and sustains every step of this journey. You move through life with a quiet authority that draws the right people, circumstances, and provisions toward you, while simultaneously repelling anything that no longer serves your higher calling. The fears that once paralyzed you lose their grip, replaced by an unhackable peace that guards your heart and mind regardless of external storms. You begin to operate from a place of rest rather than striving, knowing that the battle for your destiny has already been won in the spiritual realm, and your role is simply to walk it out with faithfulness and obedience. This awakened state brings a profound sense of freedom, the liberty to be fully yourself, without apology, to pursue your assignment without hesitation, and to love others deeply without fear of rejection or loss. You understand that your life is no longer about mere survival or personal achievement. It is about stewardship of a sacred mantle, about being a vessel through which heaven's kingdom advances on earth, about leaving a legacy of transformed lives that extends far beyond your years here. Even in moments of lingering doubt or fatigue, you return to the anchor of remembrance, the countless ways the divine has proven faithful in your past, the promises etched eternally upon your spirit, and the undeniable evidence of growth that surrounds you now. These reflections fuel your perseverance, reminding you that every layer of awakening builds upon the previous, creating an ever-strengthening foundation for the greater works yet to come. You embrace the responsibility not as a burden, but as a privilege, the honor of carrying light into darkness, truth into confusion, hope into despair, and love into wounded hearts. As you continue forward, chosen one, you walk with the assurance that your steps are ordered, your path is protected, and your impact is eternal. For you are not merely awakened. You are divinely commissioned to awaken others through the radiance of your transformed life. The old familiar voices of shame, fear, guilt, and condemnation no longer hold any authority or definition over your life. The pain of your past was never meant to be your permanent prison. It was your most profound teacher, shaping you into wisdom and empathy. Now you walk differently with greater intention, discernment, and grace. You choose relationships, opportunities, and actions wisely and purposefully. Fear no longer rules or dominates your decisions because you are now fully aligned with divine protection and guidance. As Exodus chapter 14 verse 14 promises, "The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still." This is the transformation that occurs when you wholeheartedly accept your divine birthright. You shift from merely surviving each day to truly living with passion and purpose. You move from chronic doubting to confident spiritual knowing. You stop frantically searching outside yourself for validation and wholeness because you have come home to the truth that everything you need has always resided within. You have returned to your true royal self, your eternal spiritual bloodline, your magnificent divine destiny prepared before time began. Yet accepting your royal identity is only the powerful beginning. Now comes the sacred work of actively reclaiming your full spiritual inheritance, the authority, wisdom, supernatural strength, and crystal clarity that have been buried for seasons under layers of doubt, wounding, and worldly conditioning. This reclamation is not about striving to earn something you lack. It is about courageously remembering and stepping into what has always been yours by divine right. You were never meant to beg or plead for your rightful place in the kingdom. You were created to confidently claim it with authority. The first essential step is bold declaration. Speak life-giving truth over yourself daily, naming and claiming who you truly are. As Job chapter 22 verse 28 declares, "You will also decree a thing, and it will be established for you." When you verbally declare your divine identity with faith, the entire spiritual realm aligns in agreement. Invisible chains shatter. Long-closed doors swing open. Heaven moves on your behalf. Then comes the necessary shedding process, releasing old stories of victimhood, letting go of lingering pain that no longer serves you, dismantling false beliefs that kept you limited. You cannot carry the heavy baggage of yesterday into the freedom of your new reality. Reclaiming your inheritance requires firmly rejecting anything and everything that diminishes your spirit or keeps you playing small. This includes toxic relationships that drain your light, persistent inner criticism that echoes old lies, fear-based mindsets that paralyze forward motion. Declare with authority that you are no longer available for anything that misaligns with your sacred purpose and destiny. Elevate your energy intentionally to match the higher frequency of your inheritance. Protect your spirit fiercely as the sacred vessel it is. Guard your inner peace as priceless treasure. Choose thoughts, words, actions, and environments that reflect and honor your divine truth. Create intentional time for stillness and silence each day. Moments to quiet the outer noise and clearly hear the divine guidance that has been whispering to you all along. Walk as spiritual royalty long before the world acknowledges or recognizes your crown. Stand firmly in your inherent worth long before external affirmation arrives. You no longer wait passively to be chosen by others or circumstances. You live in the daily reality that you were eternally chosen by God Himself. And as you embody this truth consistently, expect miracles to become your new normal, not because you are merely lucky or favored by chance, but because you are now fully aligned with your destiny and flowing in harmony with divine will. You do not need to become someone entirely different to receive what is already yours. You only need to remember, accept, and embody who you have always been at the core. Your divine inheritance is not something distant to chase endlessly. It is your birthright to reclaim here and now. You rise not because the world has finally made room for your greatness, but because you have courageously made room within yourself for the eternal truth of your royal identity. And now that you walk daily in that truth with confidence and grace, nothing in heaven or earth can stop the abundance, purpose, and impact that are coming next in your journey. And now, chosen one, as this message settles deeply into your spirit and takes root, remember that awakening is never the end of your sacred journey. It is the glorious beginning of an entirely new way of living, moving, and being in the world. You are not meant to simply carry this profound truth quietly in your heart like a hidden treasure. You are called to fully embody it in every action you take, every decision you make, every breath you draw. Let this very moment mark the shift where you begin walking differently, rising earlier to seek divine presence, praying more intentionally and expectantly, protecting your hard-won peace like sacred ground that no one may trample. Begin creating consistent, quiet space each day to listen for the still, small voice within, to receive fresh, divine instruction before the noise and demands of the world rush in to distract you. Feed your soul daily with living wisdom from above, not just endless streams of shallow information. Choose conversations and relationships that uplift, challenge, and inspire your spirit. Speak words that align perfectly with your high calling and carry life to others. Make intentional room in your life for beauty, deep presence, and eternal purpose in the midst of daily routines. Treat your physical body as the sacred temple it truly is, resting adequately, nourishing it wisely, moving it with awareness and gratitude. Be fiercely mindful of what you allow into your mind, heart, and spirit. The music that fills your ears, the stories and media you consume, the energies and influences you entertain. Walk through each ordinary day as if every step carries eternal significance, because it truly does. Look for opportunities to serve someone in need with selfless love. Speak truth boldly, even when it costs you comfort or approval. Say no firmly when your spirit senses heaviness or misalignment. Carry yourself daily with the quiet confidence of someone who knows beyond doubt that they have been sovereignly found, chosen, and commissioned by heaven itself. You are no longer waiting passively for life to truly begin. It has already begun in fullness, and this is your appointed time to walk fully in the radiant light of your divine inheritance. Not as someone desperately trying to prove their worth to a skeptical world, but as someone who deeply remembers that their worth was never in question before the throne of God. Heavenly Father, we come humbly yet boldly before you in awe and overflowing gratitude. For you alone are the God who sees what is hidden in darkness, who faithfully calls forth the forgotten and overlooked, who sovereignly awakens the royal destiny within the weary and wounded. Thank you for this fresh revelation of divine identity, for calling us not by our past mistakes, not by our deepest wounds or failures, but solely by your eternal purpose and unfailing love. Lord, I lift up every chosen one hearing this prayer right now. You see them completely and perfectly, every silent tear they have shed in the night, every burning question that kept them searching, every lonely season when they felt utterly alone and unseen. Yet in all of it, you never once left their side. You watched over them faithfully when they lacked words to pray. You whispered truth and comfort when surrounding lies grew loud and oppressive. And now, as they awaken fully to who they truly are in you, I ask that you envelop them completely in your manifest presence like a royal mantle of glory and favor. Break every remaining chain of fear, chronic self-doubt, shame, and condemnation that has tried to hold them back. Tear down every false identity and limiting label they have carried for too long. Let the refining fire of your calling burn away anything and everything that no longer serves their divine purpose. May your Holy Spirit flood their soul afresh with crystal clarity, bold courage, and profound divine remembrance of their royal lineage. Today we declare together in faith they are no longer lost or wandering. They are returning triumphantly to the throne and inheritance. You prepared for them before the foundations of the world were laid. Let every single step they take from this moment forward be divinely ordered and guided by your hand. Lead them beside still waters of peace. Restore their soul completely. Reveal their specific assignment with unmistakable clarity, and give them supernatural strength to walk it out boldly even when the path feels lonely or uncertain. Surround them, O Lord, with divine connections and kingdom-minded relationships that are carefully orchestrated by your sovereign hand, people who possess the spiritual eyes to truly see and recognize the brilliant light shining within them. Individuals who deeply honor and respect the sacred calling. You have placed upon their lives and faithful companions who consistently speak words of life, prophetic encouragement, and unwavering affirmation into every step of their journey. Let these godly alliances become unbreakable bonds of iron, sharpening iron, where mutual growth, accountability, and shared vision flourish abundantly. Let every previous door that closed in disappointment or confusion be replaced by far greater divine appointments and kingdom opportunities that align perfectly with your eternal purposes, opening at exactly the right moment with unmistakable favor and provision attached. Let your perfect surpassing peace, the kind that transcends all human understanding, reign supreme and uncontested in the areas of their heart and mind, where chaos, overwhelming anxiety, and relentless turmoil once held dominion for far too long. Let uncontainable overflowing joy from the very throne room of heaven return in full measure and spill over generously where deep sorrow, lingering grief, and seasons of mourning had taken root and seemed impossible to uproot. Remind them each and every day through gentle whispers of your spirit, through dreams in the night, and through undeniable confirmations in their waking hours that they were never called or designed to shrink back, diminish their radiance, or conform to the patterns of this world simply to fit in and avoid discomfort. Instead, you have destined them to stand out boldly, unapologetically, and courageously for the magnificent display of your glory and the unstoppable advancement of your eternal kingdom on earth. That they are not positioned in this generation merely to endure or survive the encroaching darkness that surrounds them, but to thrive, vibrantly flourish extravagantly, and walk in radiant, unshakable alignment with heaven's highest purposes and divine blueprint for their lives. That every ounce of pain they have carried, every tear they have shed in private, every moment of anguish that felt senseless at the time, it was never wasted, never meaningless, never overlooked by you. Rather, it served as the rich, fertile soil that you sovereignly used to carefully nurture, cultivate, and bring forth their extraordinary, one-of-a-kind purpose that is now beginning to bloom in full splendor. As your word powerfully states in Matthew chapter 5, verse 14, you are the light of the world. A city on a hill cannot be hidden. Let their light shine forth without any apology, hesitation, dimming, or restraint, Lord. Let it burn brightly and pierce through every layer of darkness wherever their feet tread and wherever their influence reaches. Let it dispel confusion, break chains of oppression, and bring clarity and freedom to those still trapped in shadow. Let it become a healing balm that restores wounded generations, mending broken family lines, reversing curses and releasing blessings that will echo through their descendants. Let it boldly declare to the watching world, to every doubting heart, and to the powers of darkness themselves, that the chosen ones have fully awakened, are unstoppably rising, and are stepping into the fullness of their God-ordained authority and destiny. Pour out upon them, Father, a fresh anointing of courage that silences every lingering voice of fear and intimidation. Strengthen their inner resolve so that they walk with the quiet confidence of royalty, who know exactly whose they are and where their true power comes from. Remove every false humility that has caused them to hide their gifts and replace it with holy boldness that compels them to use every talent, every revelation, and every resource you have entrusted to them for the expansion of your kingdom. Let their words carry weight and authority that shifts atmospheres, their prayers move mountains that have stood for generations, and their very presence bring conviction to the complacent, hope to the hopeless, and revival to dry and barren places. Surround them with mentors who impart wisdom without envy, with friends who celebrate their victories as their own, and with spiritual family who cover them in prayer during both triumph and trial. Let every attack launched against their mind, their emotions, their health, or their relationships be turned back upon the enemy, becoming stepping stones that elevate them even higher into their calling. Let favor rest upon them like a mantle, causing doors of influence, provision, and platform to open wide where they were once firmly shut. Let promotion come not from human striving, but from your divine hand lifting them at the appointed time. Let their testimony become a living epistle that draws the lost, encourages the weary, and inspires the next generation of chosen ones to rise without delay or apology. And now, Father, we come before you with hearts overflowing in gratitude and worship. Thank you from the deepest places of our spirits for their precious, irreplaceable life that you knit together with intentional love and purpose long before the foundations of the world were laid. Thank you for every spiritual gift, every unique talent, every prophetic promise you have sovereignly deposited within them, waiting for this exact season to be activated and released. Thank you for their unbreakable divine DNA, the eternal spiritual heritage that marks them as yours, forever impervious to any scheme of the enemy. Thank you for the royal bloodline of faith flowing through their veins, the same lineage of overcomers, world changers, and history makers that traces all the way back to the finished work of the cross and the empty tomb. Thank you that this bloodline can never be erased, diluted, diminished, or defeated, no matter how fiercely the darkness has tried. Seal this eternal, unshakable truth deep within the core of their spirit today, in a profound, undeniable way that they will carry for the rest of their days and never forget, even in the fiercest storms ahead. Let this very moment become the sacred landmark they will look back on years from now as the defining turning point, the day they fully remembered without any shadow of doubt exactly who they are in you, whose they are, and why they were placed on this earth at such a time as this. Let it be the day the veil was completely lifted, the day their spiritual eyes opened wider than ever before, the day they stepped out of every limitation and into the boundless freedom of their true identity as beloved, chosen, empowered, and commissioned children of the Most High God. In the mighty, matchless, resurrecting name of Jesus Christ, the name above every name, the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords, the one who was, who is, and who is to come. We pray, declare, and stand in full agreement together with all of heaven. Amen and amen. If this prayer has resonated deeply and spoken directly to the hidden places of your spirit, if something profoundly sacred within you has been stirred, powerfully awakened, gently healed, or undeniably confirmed today by the presence of the Holy Spirit, do not let that holy moment pass in silence or remain private. Take action right now, drop a comment below this message, and boldly, unashamedly declare for all of heaven and earth to witness I am rising. Let those 3 simple yet extraordinarily powerful words become your public proclamation, your faith-filled declaration, and your complete alignment and agreement with every promise, every truth, and every blessing that heaven has just released over your life. Let it mark the moment you draw a line in the sand and say, no more to small living, to doubt, to fear, and to anything that has held you back from the fullness God has prepared. Let it be the starting point of a testimony that will inspire countless others who are watching your journey. And if this entire message, from beginning to end, has reignited the fire of your true royal identity, has reminded you of the magnificent destiny written over your life, and has stirred fresh hunger for all that God still wants to do in and through you, then I warmly, wholeheartedly invite you to subscribe right now and stay closely connected with this community of awakening chosen ones. Because what you have experienced today is only the beginning, the very first waves of a mighty move of God that is gaining momentum in your life and in the lives of many others. There is so much more revelation ahead, so much more breakthrough waiting to unfold, so many more divine appointments, kingdom strategies, and spiritual upgrades that God desires to download into your spirit as you continue on this sacred path together. We are only getting started, and the best, the most glorious, impactful, and fruit-filled chapters are still to come. Until we meet again in the next message, Walk boldly in the authority that has been restored to you today. Stand firmly without wavering in the truth of who you are and whose you are. Live each day with the awareness that you carry the very presence of the living God wherever you go. And never even for a single moment forget this eternal reality. You were never truly lost, never abandoned, never without purpose. You were only being sovereignly, lovingly, and meticulously prepared, refined through the fire, and strategically positioned by the Master's hand to return home to your true identity in glory, power, and unshakable victory. The season of preparation has ended. The season of manifestation, influence, and kingdom advancement has now begun. See you very soon, chosen one. God bless you abundantly, continually, exceedingly, and without any measure or limitation today and every day forward. Amen.